Hello, and welcome to my channel. I wanted to do a quick call out to all the divine masculines because I've noticed a lot of the tarot readers and everyone's like divine feminine, divine feminine, divine feminine. So I did want to reach out to the divine masculines out there, or those that resonate with that are trying to balance their feminine aspect. And that's not like speaking about same gender interests. It's finding the feminine within yourself and balancing it. It's more of the loving, nurturing, being more compassionate, holding, not angering, not being low vibrational. So low vibrational is hate, envy, jealousy, malice, anything that is intended to harm anybody else, or perhaps yourself, which is not wise anyway. So I'm wanting to reach out to the divine masculines because I guess there seems to be this obsession with karmic women that don't understand the ascension process. And what that is, it's like this is where we're at this time and place, with the Schumann resonance increasing. The conscious awareness of everybody is elevating, and this is what's called the Great Awakening. So you're awakening to who you are, and I guess some of us are awakening faster than others, which is a plus. I think, even though it's crazy once you start waking up and you realize that hoodoo, voodoo, graveyard magic, all this stuff is real, and that I have been targeted by witches and warlocks and all these things I didn't know existed. And then obviously, you know, the government and the CIA that does experiments and has been watching us since birth, basically. So I am one of the chosen ones. Like many of the 144,000. My number is 144. From my birth name, if you go into Gematria, A being 1, Z being 26, when you put all your letters in the alphabet, each letter has a numerical value, like I said, and mine equates to 144. So obviously I do feel like I was targeted, and also I can remember when I was a young child having an encounter with a monster, with a beast that they sent, and now I know who sent it and who's responsible. And I think that's their worst nightmare, is us waking up to the reality of what they've done to us. But anyway, going to reach out to the divine masculines because I guess you have definitely been targeted by karmic woman, a lot of you. And what is a karmic woman? It is somebody that is not there for your highest or greatest good. They are there to teach you a lesson if you don't choose wisely. So last year there was a small window frame of opportunity to choose the right path. You know, a lot of people were praying to God to send them someone to help them at this time. And there are earth angels, and this is like really a war between angels and demons, and it is a war of principalities, and you try and mitigate it and not let it manifest in 3D, because I really don't care to have any issues. But there are the karmic women that are targeting other divine feminines, well, true divine feminines that are in our empress status, where that means, all that means is, as a divine feminine that's balanced, is that you've balanced your masculine and feminine energies and connecting with your inner child, and you've done the healing. So shadow work is little remembrances from childhood and small things that you could have based your entire belief system on, and it was something innocent. I had something like that when I was little. When they brought my little sister home, they told me I looked like a spider and that I was the ugliest baby they'd ever seen, and this crazy stuff, and I built up a complex about that, but I remedied it a couple of years ago. So that's what that is when we have childhood memories or traumas that happened. This is our job, is to find our counterparts to help them heal from those traumas as divine feminines. So a lot of, like, I know there are societies that have very different beliefs than we do, that I don't, every faction has their own beliefs, and there are Luciferians or those that have other kind of lifestyles that I've read up about, and generally these families will think that it's okay to sodomize their sons and daughters, I guess, because the moms are taught that if they wanted to be a good mom, they need to do an enema from when a child is a week old so they can get used to having something in their rectum. So once you realize that, you know, you have a very sensitive side, and you realize that you may have some encounters with people that have potentially experienced those, and you know, we generally have a softer side and more compassionate and can help these people deal with those childhood traumas. And then obviously if you go to a karmic in this instant, that karmic will actually exacerbate your childhood traumas, because they are not your they're not there in love and light. They are actually there to take advantage of you and actually take you for a ride. And that's what I'm wanting to kind of highlight to the divine masculines, is that, you know, hoodoo, voodoo, graveyard magic, all this stuff is really real, and 2 years ago I didn't know anything about it. But watch out for women coming into your life. Watch what they feed you, watch what they put in your drink. I've found this out, it's disgusting. Like sometimes they will use their menses from their menstrual cycle and actually like put that in people's tea and stuff, and that's a way of it's I guess some kind of spell that binds them to that person. So don't, just, you know, be very mindful of those. You know, a lot of people have very promiscuous ways and are not using protection, and it's vital. I mean, if you're going to have multiple partners, you have to protect yourself. And also with the ascension, you know, a lot of people are going into celibacy because having a sexual encounter with someone means you're trading your energy with them. That's a very big deal. You know, you're giving someone else such a big part of you. So if you're promiscuous and you've slept with hundreds of people, or thousands, I guess, I don't know. It sounds like there's some woman out there. Well, I've been told as well that, oh, I've slept with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men. But I'm also convinced that was inverted to make it sound like I was saying that. And no, it's not true. But watch out for women like that, especially using protection. And a lot of people right now are going through celibacy because you feel that calling. It's the divine union with somebody. And like, I guess a lot of us, especially of the higher ranking spiritualists that have incarnated and come to help humanity in this time, are being intercepted by people in the cabal and the Illuminati, actually, because the people in the cabal are already dead, you know, like Obama and Hillary. What you're seeing on the television is all just clones. They've already been taken care of, and I'll make another video about that. So the people that are now are those that are in the light, posing as light, but are actually of the dark. So last year there were a lot of people posing as light workers that were actually not light workers, because they haven't had their energies balanced, and they have ulterior motives like lying, cheating, stealing, promiscuity, manipulation, and that's not at all what a divine feminine is, or a divine masculine. So be careful, especially with these karmics that are trying to trap higher level soulmates because they want to use and abuse them. Also, I don't know, I guess I would suggest that if when you use condoms, to like flush them out the toilet or rinse them out, because a lot of it sounds like a lot of women are using like basters to trap people in pregnancies, or poking holes in condoms. So like, I don't know, just be really mindful. I don't know. Just the things that women will do to trap a man is not good, and at the end of the day it's the child that suffers, because you can't force somebody to love you if they don't, or to stay with you. And not only that, we need to take a step back and view this from a way higher perspective as well, where all the energy you put into conceiving a child, those are energies that are embedded in that child then. So if you have someone doing black magic and fertility spells and, you know, hoodoo voodoo while they're pregnant, or even if they're being lustful and trying to trap someone in a pregnancy, those are all innate energies that infant will be born with, and it'll be heavy karmic. So it's just at that place where we all have to come together and go inside and truly ask what our calling is. And a lot of religious people don't understand the spiritual journey, which is a soul contract that we made before we incarnated onto this plane or this realm. in order to serve humanity at this time. Um, so there are a lot of people up in high places that know more about us than we know about ourselves and targeted us. Okay. Okay. So what are the other things? Oh, so when we're going through these soul contracts, I got divorced last December, but my ex-husband we're still very good friends, and we have our own personal living arrangement for the greater benefit of my children at this time. But when we went through our divorce, and this is what we need to do when you're getting divorced in the matrix, which is the 3D, you are feeding the beast system, which is not there for anybody's greater good. It is there to make you hate each other, fight and argue, and then at the end of the day, the children are the ones that suffer. This is how our society has been created, unfortunately. So what we did was we discussed ahead of time what was going to be fair, and that's one of the most important things. Don't fight and argue right now, because we're at a place where karma, and some people don't believe in that, but you reap what you sow. For every action there's a reaction. I don't know anything about black magic other than there are apparently lots of witches and warlocks and things doing it that I have no idea. I have no desire to learn about it because I am a child of God. I am one of the chosen ones that has been sent here, and I know that no weapon formed against me will ever prosper. So when these people are casting their spells and death wishes and everything at the chosen ones, they're not hitting us because we are higher vibrational beings. We vibrate at a higher frequency of love and light. So anything you send to us is going to be reflected back onto you, because the universe doesn't differentiate. It's like, oh, this is what this person's asking for. I'm going to give them exactly what they're asking for. So, all the curses and the hoodoo voodoo and the death spells and coming after my children, like all this stuff is going to go back. And it's really unfortunate, and my condolences to those that lose loved ones. When you vow to take the life of someone else, just reviewing spiritual laws and universal laws, you will lose somebody that's closest and that you love most. So we need to be very mindful and never wish ill things on anybody else, especially innocent people that have never done anything wrong to you, because your karma then is even more stout, I guess. So I don't know. I try not to. I've never intentionally hurt somebody. It's not in my nature. I'm not jealous. I'm not envious. I don't possess those. It's not even a quality. It's actually weakness that a lot of people need to overcome to vibrate higher. You cannot experience jealousy. You cannot lie. That's one of the biggest things. But I guess there's so many people that are so deceitful, they don't know how to tell the truth. For me, it's like, I don't know how they can lie and remember all the lies, because it just takes too much energy. So it's just easier just to be honest and truthful. And that is what Christ consciousness is. So unless you're stepping into that Christ consciousness role with love and compassion and kindness for everybody, you stay low vibrational. So we need to keep it up. So divorce, you can go into a court of law and you can get divorced without having problems. You can do it amicably. And at this time, it's vital that we respect and love one another enough to realize that our paths with others might change, because God has a higher calling for us. And to do that with love and ease for yourself, so that you can maintain your friendships with your spouse and your children and the families. Because when we're doing hate and animosity right now, it's coming back faster and greater because of the ascension. And when I'm saying ascension again, that is the Schumann resonance of the earth increasing. So basically what's happening is we are returning to the love frequency, which is 432 hertz, and that's when we all vibrate at a higher frequency. That is the frequency of heaven, or the Garden of Eden. So as we're ascending, we're going through gates again, and each time we are awakening more and more to the reality of this matrix being just a joke. So when you go into court, you're not doing anything but making yourself miserable and giving your money away to a system that's not there for your benefit, because you're going to walk out hating each other when it doesn't need to be that way. So that's one of the things that I wanted to mention. Also watch out for karmics that will want to go into business and do things that'll set you up for jail. A lot of them are using social media as a weapon. Oh, so it's just, there's so much. The other thing as well, a lot of people are into like threesomes and swinging and brothels, just like group sex and stuff. Um, you know, each to his own. I do not participate in that, and it's an energy exchange, and you're sharing your energy with all of those people, and all of those people that they've slept with. It's just you. It's an energy thing. It's not even the body fluid. That's even more disgusting. But this is not pure. It's not of love. That's of pure lust. And you know what? That's actually, we are unwinding time back to the beginning of this time matrix. So as we ascend, we're actually going back to the Garden of Eden. So we would go back to this time frame, but before the Luciferian invasion. So before the reptilians came down, and those are the ones that are dying off now because they cannot handle the shift, the higher frequencies, because they are lower dimensional beings, and they have to evolve and shift with it, and change their left brain thinking to more creative and kind of balancing the left and right hemispheres of your brain, to find a good balance so your ego is lost, because that's that reptilian win at all cost. I'm not giving up. It's that vengeful hatefulness, and all you're going to do is attract more of that into your life. If you wish that on someone else, right now it's going to come back on you. It never goes on somebody that hasn't done you any wrong. Now, if it was somebody that did you wrong and hurt you, then maybe it would work. But other than that, when you're pure of heart and you have a higher calling, know that we are very protected. And I do believe that. So be mindful, like, also it appears that there's a lot of influx of STDs. So we need to be mindful. Wrap it if you have to. Throw it away so you don't have people. So gross. I can't believe that women would do this kind of stuff. But apparently there are women in this world that are pretty disgusting like that. Another thing that I've heard, that also just from spiritualists and the other angels that are all ascending, those are all the tarot readers. They are all the heralded angels. They're telling us what's going on. And these lower vibrational beings are like just putting it all out there, and this is what they're picking up in. It's like part of the quantum field that some religious people will tell you is evil too, and it's not. It's how you connect to source. It's how you become one with God, is by balancing yourself, and you're more consciously aware. And I am a child of God. Just because I don't follow a religion doesn't mean I don't believe in God or a higher source. I like to call it spirit or the universe, whatever. It's like religion is a Canaanite or the Babylonian doctrine that is not the whole truth. Once we research that a little bit, we'll see that a Council of Nicaea decided, that was made up of Roman attorneys, decided what was going to go into the Bible and what was not. So there are a lot of untruths in there. So for me, it's like, if it's a tool that people are going to use, or even when I use it, sometimes it's just use it allegorically. And it really is a study of the heavens when we look at it. So, yep. So yeah, there is a higher power. We are children of God. We all have our own path to God. So there's no place on judging other people based on your religious beliefs, and because we believe a little bit different. Okay. So, getting back to these karmic women that you guys need to be very mindful of. And something else that they seem to be doing a lot of, is giving people rohypnol or roofies, and then making them do certain acts that they don't recall. But then they would have video recorded everything, or they give them drugs, other drugs as well. These people are not recalling what they're doing, but now they are being blackmailed, and this is disgusting that women would do this, because you are then inhibiting somebody else from fulfilling their soul contract, and you cannot do that. That goes against universal laws, and I'm sorry, but there's no forgiveness. Like, you cannot want to control someone's life to that degree, because you will lose yours, or you will lose somebody close to you. It's how the universe works. It's karma. You cannot come against light beings to do that. So be mindful. So yeah, I mean, so the roofie thing, and to me, I also think, if somebody had to try and come and blackmail me, I would tell them to do it, because you know why? They are showing the world exactly who they are, and that's not a good place to be. Uh, but again, the choices we make show the people that we are. So these low vibrational beings are gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're going to, I don't know, be the end of their own demise, call in their own demise, or they're just going to have horrible lives, wishing ill on someone, wishing that someone loses their family and everybody around them when they haven't done a single thing wrong to you. It's not a wise place to be, and you need to change your mindset. And when you find yourself thinking those things, go onto your throat chakra, and it'll stop your mind from reeling, and then just reprogram your thoughts or change your thought pattern to something positive. If we focus on negative stuff or depressing things, those dendrites then in your brain actually, as they route out in your brain, it'll be a lot of negativity. And remember, as we're ascending, like karma and all that's coming back tenfold. So be very mindful, and just be loving and kind. If you feel like you're angering, stop yourself as well. Drugs and alcohol, an absolute no. Alcohol especially, because it actually splits we know it splits your personality, and it's called spirits for a reason. It kind of disconnects your mind, body, and soul, and that's when you can have principalities come in, and you will usually do things that you wouldn't normally do. And then there's people like, oh, it's the alcohol. Well, yeah, it is, but it's also, you act differently, and you put yourself in a vulnerable position, and alcohol is not healthy. What else? Oh, poverty spells. So, I'm going to call back all of my energy to myself, pure and clear, and I will return yours to you with love, so that you can grow and hopefully not be so bitter. The other thing as well is like suicidal ideations. If all of a sudden you start feeling suicidal and you're not suicidal, know that somebody else is messing with you in your energy field. For me, it's like, it's very dangerous when people do that, because again, it's going to go back on you, and it's going to go tenfold. So when your brain feels scrambled, and you're wishing somebody to harm themselves or to commit suicide, know that that's going to come back on you tenfold. And I don't wish for anybody to harm themselves, but please stop. This is an ascension. We need to stand together. We need to come together as one big family. An analogy that I like to use for each of us is like, if you look at the earth as the heart, if you take the H and you put it in the front, okay, so earth becomes heart. The earth is the heart of God, almost. So if each one of us is like a cardiac cell or a heart cell with its own automaticity, and that means it has its own spark. So if you have a heart attack, and your each little cell stops, and that little spark it can reignite that spark, and it just takes a couple of cells, and then all the light spreads. That spark spreads in the heart, and eventually the heart will just beat as one. So we can view ourselves as that, as each human as being a cardiac cell with our own little spark of God in us. And once it all comes together, we all beat together as one. I think we just all at different places. I think some of us are perhaps at the SA node. And then we have those in the Purkinje fibers that are like really slow, not waking up, being obstinate. So, yeah, let's raise our vibrations and love one another. And it's not like when you say love, I don't mean go and have sex. That's not what love is. Love is the law of vibrational energy. So it's keeping yourself in a positive mindset, being kind, being compassionate. If you see a granny needing help, just go help them. It makes you feel good too. So those are really important. Help those in need. The other thing that I've heard as well is that there are a lot of tarot card readers that are enamored by divine masculines, and they will lie. They will give them false tarot readings. You guys, please do not do that. because the karma that you're reaping on yourself is not funny. Um, and it's just being decent. You know, why lie? Why cheat? Why steal? Why be anything other than yourself? You know, we have to embrace who we are and love who we are in every moment of every day, and to be authentic and always tell the truth. You know, you cannot come against the chosen ones, those of us who have been sent here for a higher purpose, and you cannot stop our ascension because we are essential to all of humanity ascending. It's nothing, it's not ego, it's none of ego, it's just waking up to the realization that you have a higher calling and you have all these jealous women and jealous people, well, there's men too, that want your destiny. But this is written in the stars from the beginning of time. It's all the star seeds. You cannot take someone else's destiny that has been around since the beginning of time. There are different spiritual rankings, and we all born equal. That's one thing I would like to say. Every single one of us is born equal, but I don't think we die equal, because all the choices you make in your life determines who you are. And if you've created bad karma, that karma will follow you into the next life, or it goes on to your children. That's why it's so much, be very careful. You know, there were people that came after my children. My child had a very crazy deal with depression last year, and yeah, come to find out that there were suicide spells and stuff being sent. So please don't send anything to anybody's children. It's just you are inviting a world of hurt in your life when you do. What else? Oh, you know, the other thing as well, a lot of I've heard as well that some of these people in these groups will go into abattoirs, which are slaughterhouses that are all built on negative ley lines that create so much fear in these animals. But besides that, they are like getting cow hearts, and there is huge significance for that, because Hathor is a soul family goddess, and she's known as the cow goddess, right? So that these people are doing sick and twisted things to stop people from ascending, and this is one of them. So I wanted to read about Hathor, the soul family. So it's destined reunions. Support for your journey is here. Beloved to ancient Egyptians. Okay, let me start again. Okay, hold on. Okay, Hathor, soul family. Destined reunions. Support for your journey is here. Beloved to ancient Egyptians for over 3,000 years, Hathor is a goddess of light, joy, and gratitude. She was a guardian spirit of woman and nourished the universe with her milk, including her son Ra. Her temples were full of dancing, music, and pleasure. Her symbols are the sun and moon, a lioness, a winged cow, a sycamore tree, and a rattle used at celebrations. Queen of both the underworld and the sky, this multi-talented goddess manifested as the seven Hathors who appeared at a child's birth and foretold its destiny. Sounds like Gabriel. Okay, it was similar, right? In goddess spirituality, Hathor presides over the moon temples, sacred gatherings that draw together ancient soul circles to receive divine downloads and worship the goddess. A magical time of reconnecting with your soul family has arrived. When you incarnated in this lifetime, your soul planned to reunite with its ancient lineage, kindred spirits that you knew in previous lifetimes, both on Earth and in the cosmos. You don't have to know how this will happen. It's written in the stars that you'll be brought together. When you meet members of your soul family, it's an instant and intuitive recognition of mutual understanding and emotional safety. You won't need to analyze why you feel so seen and supported by them. It can be an unspoken knowing that brings relief from a previously solitary, soul-guided path. Your soul family will always want you to shine brightly. They won't be threatened by your expansion or successes. On the contrary, Some of them will go out of their way to help you achieve your spiritual mission. This may be a time for reinitiation into the moon temples, where you'll rediscover sacred teachings, engage in magical rituals, and connect with lunar cycles. Additional meanings: you share an important soul connection with this person. Let Hathor guide the relationship. Receive motherly love from a parent, friend, or group who can look after you. Join the dancing, singing, and music class. Invocation: I am not alone. My soul family are arriving to lift me up. So that's like really cool. And another one that kind of correlates with Hathor is Bridget. So I wanted to read you about Bridget. There are some amazing women in history, like divine feminines, that have done amazing things, and like we don't hear about that, and the Bible took all of them away. So it's interesting. Okay, so Bridget, the goddess of the eternal flame. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. Who she is. Bridget represents the essence of an inner dawn and the healing that comes from knowing that the best is yet to come. Bridget is the goddess of pre-Christian Ireland. She is associated with the Indo-European dawn goddess and the coming of spring. She is celebrated in Celtic festival called Imbolc that takes place halfway between the winter and spring solstices. It is said that at the moment between dusk and daybreak, Bridget arose into the sky with flames like rays of the sun blazing in her hair. There's a shrine near Kildare in Ireland that is sacred to the Druids because it was believed to have been the place where Bridget's priestesses tended to her eternal flame. This is where they learned the ancient healing practices that are associated with Bridget. And this is where in 480 CE, Saint Bridget built a monastery in honor of the goddess and created a communal and consecrated center for women's religious life and learning. Bridget is associated with poetry and with all things elevated, states of being, high-rising flames, lofty dimensions, elevated wisdom. She is said to have created the whistle for calling out from one person to another while walking through the night, which lifts the wanderer with, with its levity and reminds her she is not alone. When your soul selects her card, there's that moment when you're making your way through the dark and suddenly, after what feels like days or months or even years, a ray of light comes through to you. The lightning happens. Each step isn't quite as hard to make as the one before, and you feel a great shift begin, as if now you're headed towards something new, something even brighter. Bridget is the essence of that first flame, that first ray of light. Bridget reminds us that the darkness never lasts. Bridget's eternal flame represents the truth that the light never leaves us and can never be extinguished. It simply gets obscured or blocked from us. She reminds us that every day is actually filled with light. There are many days and times in our lives when we endure thick cloud cover, with that flame that exists within us is blocked by pain and confusion. Bridget is the sweet sound that reaches us in the dark and reminds us that we have never been on this journey alone. Bridget is our sign that the dawn is here because we have made it through the dark winter. We can lift our head, the healing has happened, and now each day is bound to be brighter. Okay, so that's like kind of cool. So, yep, I wanted to read out those two. There was something else I wanted to chat about. Yes, you know, it's difficult for men, you know, when they say you have to like balance out your femininity. It's not to be feminine. It's just it's a concept of just being more nurturing, softer, gentler. You don't need to change who you are. Just be mindful on how you react to things. Um, so if you feel yourself getting angry, stop, because we don't want to put that out into the universe. And if things get heated, just don't respond. Just be quiet. You don't need to fuel anyone's fire, or don't play into it, because if you don't play into it, they don't have anything to fight with you about. And a lot of these karmics, the divine masculines that chose the path of darkness versus the one with somebody that was sent to them to help them, it's their choice. You can't make someone do anything they don't want to do. Then you walk away. It's like, okay, so he's not willing to fulfill this soul contract. Oh, sometimes they're fake ones too. There's definitely fake ones that are actually vampires that come after us and steal our spiritual gifts, and they don't want to let them go. And then they think that they're going to sacrifice us, and that doesn't work either. They cannot. There's a force coming down on this earth, and that is the love of God. And it this is what we've all been waiting for, all the star seeds, because we are higher vibrational beings, and I guess get to go home. Like, we've been waiting for this for a long time, and we graduate from Earth School, but it's not dying. It's just, I think lower vibrational beings just won't be around, because the flash, the CME or the sonic boom that's coming in is for higher vibrational beings. So, and it's really interesting, because as with my awakening, that should have been called something totally different. I have actually narrowed it down. So on August 15th of 1977, there was a wow signal that reverberated through the heavens that was for 72 seconds, which is 9. My number's 144. When you add them all together, it also comes up to a 9. So that was the warning from the universe that they messed with a child of God that they should not have touched. And again, I'm not coming from a place of ego. This is so difficult for me to wrap my brain around as well, because I'm like, wait, me? Little old me? Like, what is so special? Especially when I'm listening to people are doing, convening with God, doing tarot. It's like that comes up a lot. I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I just wanted to let the divine masculines out there just be aware, and balancing those energies just means not focusing on harsh responses, and it's just more of a nurturing thing. Men are supposed to be our protectors, though, and that's what I'm really excited about with this, is just to see the good strong men stand up and be the defenders and the protectors of women that don't allow anybody to hurt other women or children. Unfortunately, there are a lot of these dark people that are posing as light workers that do wish ill will on others, and that's nothing of the light. Nothing of the light. And I don't know, I mean, they make their choices, right? We've known for a long time that this time was coming, and we've all had enough time to make things right, that we should. And it's so exciting because we all chose to be here, and it's going to be a glorious time. So I have no fear, because I guess, I don't know, I guess they're going to, since I faced a beast when I was a little girl, I guess I'm going to have to face the beast again. But I have no fear, because God wins. We know the story's over, and the devils just do not. And unfortunately, those that haven't conformed or changed or given their life to God just won't. Again, it's a choice. I don't wish bad things on anybody, but when you wish bad things on people, there's reciprocation. So I send love with everybody, and that's just where we are. So, what I think, a lot of these karmics will also pay other people to lie, cheat. Just know that that's all going to come back on you, and we have to see what we put in the universe. And especially for me, when you realize that somebody's posing as a fake divine masculine, that's even more. The karma is even more then, because then they're coming after someone that's innocent, that's never done anything wrong, that has no correlation to their bloodline, but they're attacking you. So just let's not want to hurt one another. Let's come together and love one another, lift each other up, and especially our military that is out there fighting a war that 99% of the population doesn't even know is happening. But that's also going to come to an end, hopefully soon, so that we can have this amazing time and enjoy the planet. But I do still think, I mean, obviously there's some things from that wow signal when they came for me the first time, that's still coming down on the earth. And I like to call it a force from source, because it's the truth, it's the love and the light of God, that's coming down. So it's a little different. I guess religious people have their own way of belief. For me, it's like, God is all around us. We don't have to worship a book. And I always think of little children that have accidents, you know, and it really irritates me when people are like, well, if you don't know the Bible, you're going to go to hell. Well, so you can tell me every child that dies goes to hell? No. Or every mute person that's blind and deaf is going to go to hell? No. We all have our own path. We all have our own belief system. There are those that believe in religion, and that's okay. I have my beliefs in that it's a control construct, and we have a personal relationship with God in and of ourselves and within us, and it's who we are. And you know, Jesus gave us 2 commandments: to love the Lord your God with all your heart, and the other one, he said, a new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another as I have loved you. By this shall all men know that you are my disciples, if you have loved one to another. So I want to end it there. So let's love each other. And if you don't have love in your heart, I don't know, you're going to have to find it. And then obviously, if anybody needs some help, or I can help anybody in any way, please do send me an email, and I will try my best to help you. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your time, and all things bright and beautiful for you. And if no one's told you yet today, remember that I love you, and I don't want to say bless you, because I never want you to be less. Again, we need to pay attention to spellcasting with words, because it's just, this world is so different, and there's so many weird things. And yes, witches and warlocks and vampires and wolves, they're all real. It's just a lot. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Take care.